The Salem Witch House, located in Salem, Massachusetts, is the only building left in Salem that has a direct relation to the witch trials of 1692. The house was built in the 1660s and bought by a wealthy merchant, Jonathan Corwin, and his wife Elizabeth in 1675. It was an unfinished house at the time, and Jonathan was only 23 years old when he bought it. This house would be considered a fine mansion by colonial Salem standards. The house had four main sections: the parlor, the kitchen, the children's bedroom, and the master bedroom. In the parlor, Jonathan and Elizabeth would keep their finest furnishings and pieces that conveyed their high station in their community. Owning a table or piece of furniture like this and displaying it openly was considered a privilege. Jonathan was also a judge in the Salem witch trials, and here he would sign arrest warrants and other documents. He would also hear cases of petty crimes such as swearing in public or burglary. It is also possible that some of the witchcraft accusations were recorded here. The kitchen was used for cooking and eating. It's where the family would spend most of their time. The fireplace was filled with pots and pans the family would use for cooking. Around the room, you could find other items the family would use to cook. There were no forks, knives, or spoons on the tables. Families did not use them very often at this time. Most people ate with their fingers. Knives and spoons were used, but forks were only mostly used for holding meat when it was being cut. The family was fortunate enough to be able to afford a fine diet. The animal bones shown here were found in the yard and proved the family consumed younger, more tender meat along with vegetables and cheese. Upstairs in the children's bedroom, there was a bed and cribs for the children to sleep in, and a small side table. Jonathan and Elizabeth had 10 kids together, 5 sons and 5 daughters. Only 2 of the children lived long enough to marry and have a family of their own. Also in the children's room were tools used for spinning wool. And some toys for them to play with. In the master bedroom, there was a desk, a bed, and other decorations. The house remained in the Corwin family until the mid-1800s. This house is used to show the daily life of someone from the 1700s and to tell the true story of the witch trials. The witch house got all information from the original 552 documents from the witch trials, which are stored in the Peabody Essex Museum. This was to ensure that all information was as accurate as possible. The witch trials first started with 2 girls named Abigail Williams, who was 11 years old, and Betty Paris, who was 9 years old. The girls started barking, twitching, yelling, and rolling on the floor for no reason. No one could figure out what was wrong with them. Abigail's father decided to call the town doctor, and he stated the girls were victims of witchcraft. When Abigail and Betty were asked who to blame for their pain, they cried out many names, and prisons were filled with more than 150 men and women who awaited trial for witchcraft, a crime that was punishable by death at the time. The first to be put on trial was a lady from Salem named Bridget Bishop. She was found guilty and hung on June 10, 1692. 13 other women and 5 other men followed right after her and were sent to the gallows. People were accused from all over, including Maine, Boxford, Topsfield, Haverhill, and more. The trials ended when Governor William Phillips's wife was accused of witchcraft, and he ordered the end of the trials and for everyone in prison to be released, ending the Salem witch trials. Throughout the trials, 150 people were accused of witchcraft and arrested. 19 people were executed, including 1 man who was pressed to death by stones, and 6 people died in prison. 25 people lost their lives altogether.